Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Hannah. On this channel, I post a lot of anti-MLM commentary content. I'll link a playlist here and down below. This is my big anti-MLM playlist. Over 80 videos on it at this point, and I'm adding new videos every single week. And if any of that kind of content does sound interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, consider liking this video. All of those things really help to support my channel, and I appreciate you so much for doing that. For today, I'm bringing you another horror stories video. These are your own personal experiences that you have taken the time to write out and send to me. I pick out a few at random and I sit down and I read them for the first time with you in a video. And if at any point you have your own story that you would like to send in to me, the instructions for how to do that are down below. Hi, Zeke. Hi, Zeke. Fun fact, I've actually been gone for like a week. I went home to Washington State to visit my parents, and ever since I've gotten back, this has been the situation. 10 times clingier than normal. This is the first video I'm sitting down to film since I've gotten back, so no doubt there's going to be commotion in the background. I would not be surprised if they make several appearances in the next few videos that I film this week. But anyway, let's read some stories. This story says, "Hi Hannah, I'm a stay-at-home mom to 5 children. I worked as an RN for years before deciding to stay home. I missed working and decided to look for work-at-home jobs. I found someone on Facebook who has her own online boutique and was so excited when she immediately answered my DMs about her business. I asked her what a Ruby Crown Princess was. It was listed on her profile under the work section. She went on to explain about her business with Senegence. I had never heard of it before. Sorry to be pausing already, but I will never be able to get over the name of the ranks of these different MLM companies. Some of them sound way more official than others. I know in Monate, you're like director, senior executive director, market mentor, managing market builder. And then in Arbonne, you're like a district manager or regional vice president. And those types of titles are very misleading in their own right. It gives the impression that these people are of a higher position than they actually are, that they have more power than they actually do. But then there's other MLMs like this, where you are a Ruby Crown Princess. And I just have to ask myself, like, how can you take yourself seriously? Genuinely, like when they're named after like gemstones or princesses, like it's very strange to me. I understand that within the structure of the company, a Ruby Crown Princess is probably very prestigious. But to the rest of the world, it looks a little bit odd that you are a grown adult and you're bragging about being a Ruby Crown Princess of something. I'm looking up the Senegence ranks right now. I'll link this document down below. The ranks go as follows. Maiden, royal in waiting. Royal, lady, countess, duchess, princess, crown princess, ruby crown princess, sapphire crown princess, emerald crown princess, queen, and empress. In my opinion, as somebody who is not within the company, this is silly. This is juvenile. Like, really? We need to be calling ourselves princesses and queens and empresses? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like, if I were to get to the top rank of an MLM, I would at least want it to sound somewhat official, like a regional vice president, executive director. I still don't agree that those are appropriate titles to be giving to people in MLMs, but at least that sounds a little bit better than Ruby Crown Princess. She sent me links to her distributor sign-up page and helped me fill out my first order as a distributor myself. The initial investment was $300. She told me I had to order $600 worth in order to get the 50% discount and that I should take advantage because I can order at 50% off for the rest of the month and start making money right away. She put me in her Facebook group, set up a Facebook page for me, and asked me to book an online party. For the next few months, I spent almost 16 hours every day making posts, going live, doing demos, contacting strangers, going to Zoom meetings, and began following my upline as if she were a god. That all sounds pretty standard. I would say that's a good representation of the job duties you're gonna have when you join an MLM. I thought I just have to do what she does and soon I'll be making money at home and it will all be worth it. They call it the quote, road to royalty when you rank up. I never hit the first rank. In order to get to the first rank of maiden, you must enroll 3 qualified distributors. Qualified means that they spend $300 in product the first month. I truly thought the products were one of a kind at first. They have skincare, hair care, and semi-permanent makeup lines. They even have a men's care line, but then I ran into problems. First of all, the company would not tell you when they would have promotions or new products, and they would come out with new colors a few times a month. I would wake up to hundreds of new messages of new products and the pressure to sell them before it's too late. We would compete with each other on how many we could sell. The minimum was 10 and no one could ever reach the goal of 10. Of course, I would have to buy buy all the new stuff as soon as it was launched in order for me to demo the colors online. With each new month, a new order would come. We were expected to purchase $750 worth of makeup every month in order to get a 50% discount. Let's just say I had every color of lip scents under the sun, even colors I hated. They have a ridiculous amount of colors. They really thought I could sell $750 worth of lipsticks every month and on top of that recruit up to 3 people with their qualified orders every month. Not only was my inventory growing and my money going down the drain with trying to qualify every month, but the eyeshadows started to break out my skin. I could no longer demo. I absolutely hated the shadows. They are liquid to powder and basically they are costume paint in a tube. And I sold them at $22 each. I realized that this makeup is not as good as I was made to believe. If I'm not going to wear it myself, then how can I push people to wear it and buy it for themselves? I was told that it was hypoallergenic and it must be something else breaking out my skin. Of course, it can never be the MLM product's fault. If you're breaking out while using them, you must be doing something else wrong. Then things got even weirder. My upline went on a business trip to Utah and roomed with the highest ranked distributor in the country. She came back and live streamed a totally bizarre mental breakdown. It was like being in a cult. She cried happy tears about how the company changed her life and could change ours too, and that she had made a spiritual connection with her new friend, and that she was going to make us all rich and all of our dreams were going to come true as long as we stick around and, quote, don't miss out on the best opportunity in the world. I personally thought this is a person who is exhausted, not in reality, and has no idea what she's doing. I thought the trip and the motivational messages were getting to her and had totally brainwashed her. Absolutely 100% that's what's going on. The reason that MLM companies have so many trips or so many conferences or business meetings or however they try to frame it, right? An event of some kind where certain people are invited or you can pay a certain amount of money to attend. The purpose of those events is to brainwash the people in attendance. Because let's be honest, most people in these companies are not seeing a level of success that they feel they can justify. It's not justifiable to be purchasing $750 worth of makeup every month just to stay active. It's not justifiable to be creating a stockpile of product in your home and you can't possibly sell it as quickly as you are purchasing it. It's not justifiable to be spending most of your days doing all of these menial tasks that you think are going to make you successful and yet you're not seeing any results out of it. And all of that to say that people lose their motivation, they lose their passion for it, they realize it's not all it's cracked up to be. There's a huge burnout rate, a huge turnover rate. So what's the solution? Let's gather everybody together, let's put them in a conference room, let's love bomb them, let's brainwash them, let's flood them with all this motivational speech. Let's give out prizes. Let's give huge rewards to the people at the top. Let's rope religion into it somehow. Maybe we can all pray together. Maybe we can have a Sunday service together. All of these types of things are deliberate manipulation tactics to kind of boost everybody's morale and give them a second wind. And so everyone comes home from these trips just totally changed, totally inspired. They're relaunching their business. And that's no coincidence at all. That's very, very intentional on the company's part. And that's why these companies host these types of events so regularly, often several times a year, and they pressure their members into paying to go, or they only invite the top exclusive people in the company because they're the most important, they make the company the most money. And it's no coincidence that people come back from these types of trips feeling totally reinvigorated, and they're ready to stick with the company for longer than they probably would have if they did not go to that conference or on that trip. I soon took my exit, only to be guilt-tripped back into the company. I blocked everyone and closed my Facebook groups. Soon, I was getting emails, text messages, and phone calls from my upline. She was completely frantic and acting as if she cared about me. Where had I gone? What did she do? Was I okay? She thought we were friends. She doesn't care about the business, and she only cares about friendship. So I caved and I responded that I'm sorry, and I just got scared and left. She immediately changed her tune and started to reach out to me constantly after that to make me feel that she was really my friend and not using me. But soon after she worked her damage control on me, I started to have all the same doubts as before come flooding back. I couldn't afford to qualify every month anymore. I was made to feel that I just wasn't working hard enough. The love bombing of other team members who ranked or qualified was off the charts. They would get constant shout outs and special posts for their achievements. It made me feel confused. I didn't know how they did it. I now know that they just keep buying inventory in order to get those posts of recognition. I decided it just wasn't working and that no matter how much I spent or tried, that this company had to be a scam because it was near impossible to meet any of the qualifications. I spent around $3,000 and made no profit. All of the profit I made went back into inventory so that I could qualify every month. I feel like nobody talks about this company and it's one of the worst, at least from what I've experienced. The products are awful and overpriced. We were expected to offer everyone the opportunity. If anyone bought anything at all, even a $20 lip gloss, we were expected to pitch them on becoming a distributor. Please look into SeneGence and expose them for the scam that they are. Thank you for reading and keep up the good work. Honestly, you're right that people don't talk about SeneGence very much. And to be completely honest, I don't even really see SeneGence reps on social media ever. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but I don't think that anybody has ever sent me like a clip or a photo or a reel or a live stream of a SeneGence rep for me to react to. I don't think I've ever gotten that. I know a couple people that used to be in SeneGence, but that was like 2016, 2017, and these days they're like off the grid, and I don't know why that is. In my personal opinion, just my impression of the company, and also what I've been told by previous reps, is that their products are formulated terribly, their packaging is horrendously ugly, their compensation plan is kind of a joke, they call people ruby crown princesses, their products are incredibly overpriced, and they're not any better quality than you could get at Sephora or Ulta, and the way that the compensation plan is set up is people have to be continually spending their own money just to stay qualified or active, and people can't stay in the company for very long. They can't afford to. I just looked it up, and SeneGence was founded in 1999, and my impression of this company is that they're kind of stuck in 1999. Companies that have been founded since then, they're a little bit more tricky, they're a little bit more savvy, their packaging is a little bit more aesthetic. The people they market to is like young millennials who want to be influencers on social media. They don't require you to hold inventory. The startup costs are a little bit lower. All of those types of things are characteristics of what I consider to be like the new wave of MLMs. They're still MLMs, they're still scams, but at least they're a little bit more sneaky about it. And to me, it just feels like SeneGence is just so like openly a scam. Like it doesn't take people very long to figure that out once they've joined. Other companies are much better about masquerading the scam, and it takes people a lot longer to realize it. All of that is my personal opinion. That's kind of the best guess that I have as far as why I don't see stories about people in SeneGence. I don't see them on social media because it almost seems like people who join SeneGence quit just as quickly. You don't see people in this company sticking it out for multiple years. Like I said, that's just my impression of it. That's all my own opinion. I could be way off. That's my best guess as to why SeneGence just isn't really brought up as often. This next story says, when I was in college, there was a girl in my same major who was a Mary Kay rep. She wore the merch, but as far as I could tell, she didn't try to sell the products in person. It seemed like she just made posts about it on her personal Facebook. She was such a beautiful girl, but I honestly never thought her makeup looked like it was good quality. I went to school far from home, and I was usually looking for friends so I could have weekend plans or at least someone to grab dinner with every once in a while. Loneliness was something I experienced a lot in college. When my classmate reached out to me about going out to dinner with her older sister, and some friends, I was so excited. She told me that her and her sister wanted to have a girls' night out, to have dinner and drinks, and to have makeovers. It felt weird to me to have a makeover at a Mexican restaurant, but I was still excited about being included in something. When I got there, her older sister seemed so fake, and I quickly found out this sister was her upline in Mary Kay. I could tell it was all about selling stuff to us. It was just a big sales pitch. They wanted us to open the website on our phones and create a wish list of what products we wanted. They also wanted us to share ideas of how we could come up with the money to get everything on our wish list. I could barely afford anything at this point in my life, so going out to eat was a huge deal for me. Buying an overpriced lipstick was the last thing on my mind. This entire interaction is very strange to me. This scenario where you're like sitting down and somebody's like, oh, if you could buy anything on this website, what would you buy? And you're like, oh yeah, maybe this, maybe that. This would be kind of nice to have. And then they're like, okay, what are you gonna do to make it happen? I'm not surprised in the least that this is happening regarding an MLM brand, but like imagine this in a non-MLM scenario and how freaking weird this would be. You're in college, you go out to dinner with some girlfriends. One of them is like, hey, if you could have anything on the Maybelline website, what would you buy? So you all get out your phones. Oh, that lip gloss is kind of cute. I kind of like that eyeshadow color. And then the friend is like, okay, well, if you want this stuff so bad, what are you gonna do to come up with the money? It's just odd behavior. Like that would never, ever, ever happen if this person was not in Mary Kay. okay. Maybe it would happen if they were in another MLM, but not if they were not affiliated with an MLM. The makeover ended up being a trial of hand scrub in the restaurant bathroom, which was super cringy, by the way, since it was a Friday night and the restaurant was busy. After washing our scrub off in the bathroom, we had a foundation trial at our seats in the middle of the restaurant. This is so bad. Oh my god. I was super nervous to try the foundation since I have struggled with acne my entire life. My skin is my biggest insecurity. The older sister pressured me so hard, saying I was going to love it and would be leaving with a bottle of my own by the end of the night. In my head, I thought, no, I will not. She didn't color match me and just rubbed some on my face with her fingers. No brush or sponge used. Yikes. I am very fair-skinned and this honestly made me look orange. By the way, I had terrible breakouts on my chin for a few weeks following this night. Oh my god, this is so bad. Imagine just thinking that you're going out to dinner with friends and all of a sudden a Mary Kay rep is like rubbing orange foundation onto your face with her fingers. At the end of the dinner, they had us all split the bill evenly. Remember when I said I could barely afford it? Well, I had ordered a very cheap appetizer and water, while the other girls had ordered meals and drinks. I felt so awkward speaking up that my order was significantly cheaper than everyone else's, and I was told it was supposed to be a fun girls' night and no one should be pinching pennies that hard. Excuse me? I shut down and just agreed, so I ended up having to pay into other people's expensive choices. I feel like that's just consideration 101. Like, if it was not agreed upon before you ordered that the bill would be split evenly, then it is unacceptable to assume that that will be the case when the bill comes. And you know what? If we really want to go there, they're telling you that you shouldn't be pinching pennies, but they're the ones pushing so hard to get you to cover some of their bill. Absolutely not. That is so unacceptable. Everyone bought something except for me, so I felt super guilty and awkward. But I knew I couldn't do it and honestly didn't want anything to do with the makeup. Like I said earlier, my classmate and her sister's makeup just didn't look quality at all. Afterwards, I kept getting follow-up messages from both girls pressuring me to buy products and join their team. I didn't feel like they wanted to be my friend at all, and it made me so sad. They both made it seem like it was somehow my fault my face broke out after that night. I was accused of, quote, not washing my makeup off properly, and quote, not feeding myself healthy food. The nerve of these girls. Common courtesy, basic respect for other human beings. Yeah, that doesn't exist here. I was pretty much ignored by both of them going forward after I turned them down several times. It was obvious the girl who I thought wanted to be my friend didn't care about me. All I have to show for a night that was pitched to be a girls' night out was spending my money on food that I didn't have and getting severe acne from their makeup. Wow, I mean, definitely horrific. I have secondhand embarrassment from the makeover in the restaurant bathroom, to splitting the bill, to using her fingers to put it on, to shaming you for your eating habits. I can't. Yeah, this is all bad. I am so sorry that you had to experience that firsthand, but this is a pretty good story. This is a very entertaining story, and I hope you can look back on it and kind of laugh at that now, because everything about this is so unacceptable. It's so outrageous. And thank you for sharing it with us all. This story says, hi Hannah, I have an Usborne Books MLM horror story for you. I feel like this MLM isn't talked about as much as others, so I hope my story helps someone else avoid the headache that I experience with them. My cousin is a consultant for Usborne Books, and when I was expecting my first baby, she asked me if I would be interested in doing an online Usborne baby book shower. She had previously done one for my sister-in-law when they were expecting their first baby, and it seemed like a great way to gift books to expecting parents. So I told her yes. Yeah, actually, if it wasn't an MLM, I think that's a fantastic idea for a baby shower. Because in my humble opinion, as someone with an education background, children can never have too many books. And I think that's a wonderful gift to give an expecting mother. Obviously, that child won't be able to read the books for a little bit. It's one of those kinds of items that a lot of people don't really consider when they're thinking about a baby shower gift, a birthday gift. It's all like cute onesies or blankets or toys, which all those kinds of things are totally great, but those are the kinds of gifts that everyone buys. But having a collection of books at home is really important for child development and for literacy. Kids need books at home. It's one of those things that often gets overlooked. It's one of those things that's not commonly thought about as a gift. Anyway, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but books are very important. So honestly, if someone was like, hey, would you like to have a baby book shower? I'd be like, sweet, yeah, let's do it. It's a bummer though that it isn't an MLM company, and this is a horror story email, so I can only imagine it's not all it's cracked up to be. She asked me to make a wish list of Usborne books that my friends and family could pick from to buy for my daughter. The whole process was very confusing, the website is not user-friendly, and all of the books are random, unfamiliar titles, so it was hard to get an idea of what I was even signing up for. The online party rolls around, and my family and friends very graciously start purchasing books, and my cousin proceeds to update me every once in a while saying, "You've got X number of dollars in free books," and "Oh, now you're up to X amount in free books." It seemed like a great deal to me regarding something that is very important in my life and something I want to share with my children. So getting gifted with books and having credits to claim free books seemed like a win-win. Yeah, honestly, I'm on board for this so far. After the online party ended, she had me go through the website and select additional books that I wanted to claim with the credits I'd earned toward free books. At that point, I had racked up $200 in free books. I picked them out, I sent her the list, and then she told me that with the shipping and taxes on the books my friends and family had bought and the free books I had picked out, my total cost would be $124.87. And then you said, "What?" Yeah, same. Like, excuse me? I thought that they were gifting me books and I thought I got free book credits. So why is my total $124, ma'am? I ended up having to tell her that I wanted to hold off on using my free book credits because I owed $76 for shipping and taxes on the books that my family and friends had picked out and bought during this online party. It was never explained to me that I would have to pay the shipping and tax for these books that the other people were purchasing. That is fishy. That's weird. Because it sounds like your cousin totally set this up as like, this is your baby shower. This is your book gift giving shower. Pick out the ones you want and we will gift them to you. So why now are you on the hook for $76 in shipping? Like typically when you are giving someone a gift, you cover all the costs of that gift. But as with all MLMs, there's always a catch, okay? It's never as easy or as simple or as good as you think it's going to be. $76 isn't a ton of money, but at the time, I certainly couldn't justify spending any more than that when there are plenty of other expenses that come along with having a baby. I definitely wasn't about to spend $125. My daughter is 9 months old and I still have not claimed any of my free book credits, and honestly, I don't know if I ever will. The books that we got are fine, but they're not anything to write home about and certainly not worth paying a bunch of money in shipping and taxes. I hope this story helps prevent someone else from getting sucked into one of these Usborne parties. Looking back, I wish I would have asked more questions about how it all worked. Keep up the great work with the anti-MLM content. I love watching your videos. This is just so confusing to me because if I was in your position, I would have probably agreed to it also. I probably would have fallen for it, for lack of a better term. Like with the information that you were presented up front, this sounds like a pretty sweet deal. But that's the thing with these companies. It's never as good as it sounds. There is always a catch. And now I'm very curious. I'm not familiar with the Usborne compensation plan. I don't know how their parties work. I don't know anything basically. But just going off of my base knowledge and my base experience and the hundreds of emails that I've read, there's a very, very good chance that there was something in it for your cousin. It wasn't just a baby shower. It wasn't just a giving party. She had goals she was trying to meet. There was probably some kind of quota. She was probably using you and your pregnancy and the excuse for a baby shower to hit some kind of sales volume requirement on her end. It's highly confusing to me that she's using the term free books or free book credits or whatever. Because in what world does free books equate to you're gonna pay me $125 for these books? I might have to do some digging on the Usborne compensation plan on my own, because typically I can kind of like suss out what the situation is and be like, oh yeah, she had this kind of quota, so she did it this way. But this makes absolutely no sense to me. And the two things I'm taking away from your story is number one, have a book baby shower. Love that idea. I'm stealing that idea. Number two, don't do it through Usborne. This story says, hello Hannah, after watching your MLM horror stories, I really wanted to share one of mine. I unfortunately had spent years in an MLM as I truly believed I could make it work. Besides, it was a travel MLM. Most of the time it was a lot of fun. I traveled a lot, I paid with my own money, not earned, and connected with some truly great people that I still keep in touch with. Overall, I do not regret being a part of it, I just wish I had left sooner. Looking back, I see some pretty crazy things that were going on. That just validates why I always had the gut feeling that something was very wrong. However, I buried that feeling as we were not supposed to question anything. Just do what the leaders say and keep being positive. As you can imagine, I have a fair few stories to share, but I wanted to point out one specifically as it built up to the day I almost lost my life. Even though I had not managed to succeed greatly with the company, I kept showing up and gave it my all. I always tried to find new people with whom I could share the business or travel opportunity, as the hot and warm market had run out pretty quickly, as in every MLM for all people. Yeah, so if you're not familiar, your hot and warm market are like the people that you personally know, the people in your personal network that you have pre-existing connections with. Think friends, family, high school and college acquaintances, the other moms from your child's soccer team, like anyone in your personal life that you could pitch it to. That's called your hot or warm market. And when that dries up, like you said, as it does for every MLM, for all people, it eventually dries up. You've eventually pitched to everyone you personally know. Then you're forced to move into what's called your cold market, aka strangers. The people in the grocery store, the random people on Instagram you're sending messages to. You get it. One of the upline leaders, Mike from Cyprus, reached out to me and asked if I'm available for a call as he had something really exciting to share. On that call, Mike said that I am the most trusted leader in the country, and he sees that I am very serious about the business and that he has this amazing opportunity to share with me. It will most definitely help me recruit people with the right mindset and expand the business beyond Latvia, the country I'm from. I don't think we've said yet what company this is. You mentioned it was a travel MLM, but I don't know what specific company. Maybe it'll come up later in the email, I don't know. Of course, all that flattery seemed a bit sudden, but I finally felt seen for my efforts and I bought it. The opportunity was that Mike and another even higher leader would go to a personal development event, not the travel company's event, in Stockholm, where they have secured a stand as one of the sponsors for the event. Mike continued by saying that the speakers would promote our company on stage as well. And since the event would be full of people who seek development and something new in their life, it would be the perfect opportunity to recruit as they already have the right mindset. Well, I was skeptical and had questions. If people are going to be in the event, when are we going to recruit? Surely they will be listening to the speakers instead of walking around in the hallway for us to recruit. Why would they promote our company on the stage when we have no involvement with the actual event? And just because they are in a personal development event does not mean they are prepared to sign up for a business with some foreigner from another country. Oh, and then also, how would I help that person grow the business when I am hundreds of kilometers away? All of my questions were brushed away, and Mike just continued convincing me with a lot of enthusiasm. Oh, and one more thing, they really want me on board, and I shouldn't say anything to anyone else in the Latvian team, as they are offering it only to me. On top of that, they said they would pay for my flight, but not the hotel, if I remember correctly. And on top of that, they wanted me to pay like 500 euros or so to pitch in with the stand fee. And since we are one of the sponsors, I would also get a free pass in the event. All of that sounded like the worst possible idea by such high-level leaders, but I thought, okay, maybe I'm wrong and they know better. I raised my concerns with Mike and said that the 500 euro fee is quite high, considering there is no guarantee I will recruit anyone. I would have to sign up about 6 people to make 500 euros from the business. I said that if it was free to join the event, I would give it a go, but otherwise I just don't think it's worth it. Honestly, I couldn't believe they thought this was a good idea in the first place. But he tried to convince me by saying that it will work, and if only I knew how much money they have put down for the stand, I wouldn't say the 500 is a lot. It will pay off, as it only takes one right person to blow up your business, etc. He said to think about it as this was something unique they are offering only to me. The next day I politely declined, saying I cannot make it this time. I really thought that this was such a mad idea and totally not worth the money, but I felt flattered to be invited there with 2 top leaders. A few days later, as I'm walking to one of our travel parties and I am on a call with a friend, Cindy, who is also in this MLM, we were in touch every day and we were very active members. On this call, Cindy announces to me with a lot of excitement, "I'm going to Stockholm! Mike invited me to go to this event," and I said yes. I was in shock and said, "Wow, really? Do you think it's worth paying the 500 euros for no guarantee of recruitment?" And she says, "No, it's completely free. Mike and the other leader are fully covering my flights and hotel. It's completely free." At that point, my heart dropped and my stomach turned. I felt so betrayed. It was clear that actually they did not think of me as the trusted, most dedicated leader. They just saw me as a money opportunity. I was earning good money from my actual job and they knew I could afford it. Cindy, on on the other hand, was a student with no spare money. They just thought I was stupid enough to pay all this money. What also hurt me was that I had told Mike I would go if I didn't have to pay the €500 fee. Yet, they asked for the money from me, but offered to go for free to my friend. As I got off the phone, I felt sick, betrayed, and worthless, realizing that I meant nothing to the two people I looked up to so much. It may sound a bit dramatic to others, but it was already a pretty hard time in my life in general with a lot of emotional stress. This news just triggered a very severe physical reaction in my body. It went into anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is a severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction, and I know most people and doctors will claim this could not have been caused by emotions, but in fact, there are some studies about stress-induced anaphylaxis. I have never heard of such a thing. That is wild. And even a placebo irritant can cause anaphylaxis. Our bodies are just amazing. I believe 100% that these emotions of betrayal cause this physical reaction in my body, as I was not exposed to anything that I am allergic to. Also, I've had less severe episodes in the past, and it had always occurred when I was in emotional turmoil. That's insane. I mean, I completely 100% believe in like the mind-body connection. As somebody who struggles with anxiety, I know very well that the things going on in my mind cause physical symptoms. They manifest in physical ways. I've just never heard of something as severe as anaphylaxis happening. That's just like wild to me. As I kept walking, I started to feel my face, throat, and tongue swelling up. I immediately took antihistamines and called the EA, letting them know the street I am on. It was a very secluded street with no people around. My blood pressure was dropping and my vision was blurring, and I was about to lose consciousness. I kept telling myself, keep conscious, keep conscious, keep conscious. This cannot be the end of it. An elderly couple was passing by, and the lady saw me sitting on the street and asked if I was okay. I could hardly speak, but I told her I'm having an allergic reaction and EA is on the way. Her husband was encouraging to leave me alone. I guess I looked pretty scary with my face swollen up, and she asked if there was anything she could do. I asked her to stay with me until EA comes. The next thing I know, I woke up in the EA car with doctors saving my life. I'm so thankful to this lady and the doctors reacting so quickly. And you know what's even more crazy? Later, I found out that the event for which they said I would get a free pass was a free entrance event for anyone. Cindy returned from Stockholm and had not recruited anyone. In fact, nobody recruited anyone. However, Mike had the guts to ask me to participate in the next such event in London with a €1,000 participation fee. I told him straight up, as you know, Cindy did not recruit anyone, and I feel betrayed that you offered her to go for free, yet you asked me to pay a substantial amount to participate. He said last time was just a trial, and this time would be the real deal, and it cannot be for free. You don't know how much money we invest in this, and you don't know anything about how it went with Cindy. I said, I do know. We actually speak every day. I'm not stupid. Well, maybe I was. As I kept being part of that MLM, I should have quit right there and then. On a positive note, that MLM no longer exists. That's great news. I am healthy, happy, and much wiser. Keep spreading the anti-MLM word because it turns people into very ugly predators. I mean, first and foremost, I'm so sorry that that happened. I'm sure it's just one of those things that like, it's obviously unsuspecting. One moment you're having a normal conversation and the next moment you think you're gonna lose your life, and that's horrifying. As I said, I've never heard of like emotion or stress-induced anaphylaxis. I believe you that that can be a thing, but this would not be the first time that I've heard of like people going through a severe emotional reaction to something happening to them in their MLM. Whether that's some kind of like emotional break where they feel really out of control, whether that's anxiety or panic attacks. I've heard of people having like high blood pressure and migraines. And I really do believe that those things can be caused by the stress that you experience in these companies. Personally, for me, when I have a panic attack, my heart rate spikes, I get sweaty, I get clammy, I get nauseous, I shake, my vision gets blurry, I feel like the world is just closing in on me. And that entire episode is triggered by some kind of external event that I may or may not even be aware of. Most of the time I can identify a direct link, but sometimes I can't. And I agree that it does sound a bit dramatic to other people, as you said in your email, but I 100% believe it, as I have experienced myself, that this special combination of kind of mental triggers can set off this entire cascade of physical symptoms. I will end by saying that thank goodness you got the help that you needed. Thank goodness for that couple that stopped to help you. I'm really sorry to hear that that happened, but I am relieved to know that everything was okay, because nobody's life, nobody's health and well-being is worth being sacrificed for an MLM company. And if you are are somebody in an MLM who happens to be watching this right now, please know that your mental and physical health is so valuable. And if those things are suffering as a result of you being in an MLM, it's time to get out. And this story says, "Hi Hannah, I have submitted this story to some other YouTubers, but it's comedic gold, so I wanted to share. For context, I am a litigation paralegal in New York State. A few months ago, I received a Facebook DM from a Legal Shield rep. For those who haven't heard of it, it's an MLM that offers low-cost, limited legal services. This representative asked me what practice area I was in, did I like my current position, etc. She then told me she could give me an opportunity to be an attorney without a law degree. Spoiler alert, that is not a thing. She did not pick her target for this pitch very well, as I am on the unauthorized practice of law committee for our county's bar association." Oof. Yeah, rule number 1 when you're giving an MLM pitch: know your audience. So my response to her was, if you were any kind of reputable source, you would know that what you just described is not only a pyramid scheme, but unauthorized practice of law, which is a Class E felony in this state. Shame on you and whatever licensed professional is backing this. I got blocked after that, and I'm not even sorry. The added bonus of this story is that I'm currently working on a continuing legal education class for our county bar association about unauthorized practice of law. I plan on telling this story and making sure everyone knows about this. Anyway, I love your videos and your warm personality. Keep up the great work, and please keep me anonymous if you read this. Fantastic. Short and sweet. Love it. Yeah, I feel like the bare minimum that an MLM rep could do is just know their audience, okay? Do a quick scrolling on their Instagram account. Get a sense for who they are. Get a sense for what they do. It's pretty simple. I mean, granted, not every person puts every aspect of their lives on their social media to be seen by others, but even in my own experience, I've gotten cold messages from people asking me to join their MLM. And at the moment that I've received that message, I've had an anti-MLM Instagram story. The link to my YouTube channel is in my bio. At one point, I even had the term anti-MLM in my bio. And I've still got people in my DMs being like, "You'd be great at what I do." And I'm like, oh really? Would I? Like, it just takes 1 ounce of effort, okay? Just one scroll through someone's Instagram account can tell you a lot of information. And it is mind-blowing to me that they won't even do the bare minimum of seeing what you're all about before they pitch you. But in the end, it's not about you. It's not about who you are. It's not about how qualified you are. It's a numbers game. It's just a mass messaging numbers game, talking to as many people as humanly possible. They're not even looking at your account. And I absolutely love instances like this where they just walk themselves right into a situation they have no place being in. In this case, it's somebody from Legal Shield outing themselves for not having any idea about the laws of their state, which I find absolutely hilarious. And with that, my friends, it's all the stories that I have for you for this MLM horror stories video. Like I said at the beginning, if you have your own story, please don't hesitate to send it in to me. I keep thinking that my folder is as big as it's gonna get, but I am now up to 124 unread horror stories. I absolutely love that. The more the merrier. Please don't let that number be a deterrent for you sending in your own story. I would love to have it. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in my next one real soon.